Welcome back to Marty G on the podcast. So, you got a little taste of it the other day whenever you watched this, if you watched it. I'm going to be doing an ongoing series on words. Use Your Words is what I'm calling the series. So, this is Volume 1, Episode 2. Episode 2. Why am I doing that? Is because I always try to get people to think more about communicating. Communicating face to face, voice to voice. Text is fine. I don't care. Yes, that's fantastic. But we're shortcutting a process, folks. And since words have so many different meanings, it really sucks because people spend so much time and waste so much time texting because people have different feelings and different definitions of different words and based on tone, tenor, all these different things. And wherever you're from, I mean, literally, there's different feelings, different meanings for different words. So, what am I doing? I'm breaking it down for you. Today, I'm going to talk about that one word that we all care about friends. Yeah, we're going to talk about friends today. Why? Because how many of us have them? It's a common use phrase, friend. I like to call them, some people call them energy suckers. Because some friends are better than others. I've got friends that are more like family. How many friends do you have? Look at your friends list. I know before I decided to start doing content, I had about, on my Facebook friends list, I had over 3,000 friends. Because when I started on Facebook, back in the whenevers, I'm not going to tell you when because that just dates me. But when I started back on Facebook, way back in the day, oh my God. I was taking friend requests from everybody. I had a friend request here and a friend request there and a friend request here. I was just adding people left and right. And I had so many celebrity like friend requests because wink, 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 it was really the celebrity, right? Of course, no imposter would actually send me a friend request. Jeez, give me a break. So what did I do? I decided to just keep going and adding and going and adding and going and adding and going and adding. Then I decided, you know what? This makes absolutely zero sense. So why would I just assume just because somebody sent me a friend request on a social media platform that all of a sudden they should have free reign, free access to every stupid thing I do on social media. And that's when it hit me. It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Why would I just let somebody have all access to me all the time and everything that I do? Because that's really what social media was for initially. I want you to watch me and all the stupid things I do with my friends or just myself when you don't see me. But I had to start thinking. There is a professional Marty, there is a playful Marty G, and then there's just a off the chart, just stupid Marty G. I don't want people to see all that. So, I think the friend request should not be the friend request. It should be an acquaintance request. So I'm going to be breaking down that word friend. Breaking down that word friend. Because it's way too common. It's way too used in too many different ways. And most of the time, people that are using it applied to you, they're using it wrong. Let's talk about the acquaintance friend. These are the people that, by all means, they know you so well. They could tell everybody that you know that they're your best friend. Or they know everything about you. They know every single thing about you, and they could just go on and on and on and talk about you all day long. You're like, who? Not because you're necessarily being mean about it, or you're upset, or you don't like them, just because maybe you don't remember them that much because they're really not that close to you. And then we enable these people because we don't want to hurt their feelings. Well, usually it's because we don't want to hurt their feelings. There are a few narcissistic people that like to just let people keep trying to be this important person to them. Just not saying anything. Just let this person think they're important, but just not even ever engage them or give them any feedback to make them think that they're important. That's not me. I tend to isolate and make contact with people as I go. What do you do? I have a very specific way now in my life that I separate and kind of keep people in different places, different pots of energy, if you will. It separates my friends to my people I just meet to people that are so close to me, they're more like family because I have to operate that way. Because unfortunately, Marty has a hard time saying no. Marty has a hard time not giving all of his energy to everybody. So I have to be very selective about my time, my energy, and my space. And I would much rather be more formal as far as the time I give and the energy I give, just to really more than anything protect myself and my energy. So, bottom line, acquaintances even have their own level. Okay, there's a first time meeting. Hey, buddy. I may remember your name based on our initial connection, or I may not. I mean, I'm getting older, so a lot of times I can't remember my own damn name. But I try. I try really hard. Or maybe you're a colleague, somebody I'm working with, somebody that I spend intimate time with. Or maybe I'm DJing an event. Or whatever the case may be, everybody has a different level of connection right out of the gate. So some people are closer as an acquaintance than others. But that doesn't necessarily make you a friend. Now, I don't let anybody assume a role or assume a name for me in my relationships because each word has meaning. Remember that. Each word has meaning. Friend has to mean something, honestly, because realistically, if everybody's a friend, then everybody should be held to the same standard in your life, shouldn't they? Because I'm trying to figure out if everybody's a friend, then everybody should be doing the exact same thing to be a really good friend of mine. Sounds fair. Otherwise, why are they my friend? I mean, it's not a dig, it's just reality. I think it's the only way to really manage expectations. But what's happened? Social media? Social media, I don't have a problem with, but it's really given everybody an opportunity to be lazy and take shortcuts and forget that everything has protocol. Everything takes time. I'm not saying you gotta really stop and take all these millions of steps to determine if we're gonna be friends or not, or we're gonna see where we're gonna go with each other. You can tell right out of the gate if you give yourself opportunities to see where things go versus try to force where things are gonna go, you'll know. I like to reference somebody sent me a friend of mine sent me a TikTok, and I will admit right now I will right now tell you that is the one social platform I refuse to get. I got just about everything else, but I refuse to get TikTok, and I'll tell you why. It is usually always somebody sending me a video of somebody I don't know, and it's supposed to be something funny to make me laugh. And I would much rather call my friend and spend that time on the phone and try to make them laugh and engage this person versus having some weird person in the middle take away that time with me and my person. It just seems odd to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. But anyway, they sent me this TikTok, and it was really interesting because the subject was it was this woman. She had to be in her early 20s or something like that, and she's on camera and she's talking about this feeling she gets for guys, and like, oh, there's this. I get this feeling for guys, and sometimes I just want to jump on them. I just want to feel them, get all over them, and I can't keep my hands off them. I just don't know what to do with my mind. I can't turn it off. And then there's other times when guys are just like, there's other guys I just can't be around them, and they skeeve me out. I can't get away from them fast enough. I don't know what that's called. And even my friend told me when she sent it to me, she said, I don't know what it's called either. And immediately shot back to her after I watched the video and was laughing. I said, yeah, in my day we used to call that chemistry. That's how you would determine if someone was going to be a close friend or just someone you met or an acquaintance, because you would tell right out of the gate with someone if you're going to have chemistry with them or not. But what happens? Social media either forces us to try to be closer, or it forces us to not, or give us the ability to ghost, or whatever the case may be. We very rarely know the people that we think we know. So I took the time, and let me tell you, it is an arduous task. It takes forever. But I got tired of one, all the people I didn't know in my Facebook world knowing things it was like knowing things about me that I didn't want them to know. It was like having about 15 million people at a party and it wasn't my party. Here's an example. I mean, I lived in West Denver, and my friend and I, Angelique, we lived in this really super big house up on a hill in West Denver, and it was really, really cool. And we used to have parties all the time. And we had a costume party one time, and I was DJing it because, that's what I do. And she was my housemate, and we would have these ragers, and we'd have people over all the time. And there was this one time we had this raging ass party, and I looked up and I could see Ange dancing on the couch. And I got on the microphone because at that point in time, I didn't recognize one person in my house. And I said, Ange. She said, what? I'm like, who the hell are all these people? Because I didn't know any of these people in my house. But that's how it gets to be on Facebook and all these social medias. Everybody's looking for followers and da 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 da. And that's why it takes me so long to grow an actual audience again, because I booted everybody out. And not everybody, but just the people that I don't have any kind of connection with. And then to get rid of all that negative talk and all that people just totally trolling and just not, getting on people for having different opinions. I've got people that have different opinions from me on my group. I love that. I love having people with different opinions. We used to be able to do that back in the day. I also went through and unfollowed everything and everybody that I kept because I wanted to have a clean feed of just stuff that I want to see. And it was awesome because for like almost 3 weeks straight, I had a totally empty feed. I'd check into Facebook, there was nothing there. The algorithm must have been like acting crazy on my behalf because they didn't know how to handle things. Like, I don't know what to show him. He doesn't have anybody that he interacts. He doesn't like anything. What do I do? But as I started slowly adding back and following people, it felt really good to be able to do that. Because I actually had people just, to this day, they would still ask me. They ask me things like, "Well, didn't you see that I put on Facebook?" And I'm like, "No." I mean, the assumption is that just because I'm an acquaintance that I'm following you on Facebook. Why? What's the reason? I mean, like right now, if you're listening to this podcast, this number one or two, I guess, in the series, if you're probably one of a very few, because I'm not going to make the assumption that there's 50 million people that are going to be listening to this. I've got to grow my audience organically, and I know it's going to take a while. But I'm not going to make the assumption that there's like a gazillion people watching me or listening to me. It just doesn't work that way. So what else do we have? BFFs. Best friends forever. Yeah, forever is a long time. I don't see that happen very often. I really don't. It works all through grade school. It works all the way through sometimes college. Yeah, but honestly, when it comes down to it, especially if you're going to have a life partner, unless you grew up with your life partner, you're going to have to give up that BFF for life thing. Because honestly, the only person that will be and should be and will always be your BFF is the person that's going to be your ride and die until you do so. Period. I don't care how close this friend is to you or where you grew up together or the crap you went through together. If you've got a friend or if you've got someone who cares about you or someone that is your person in your life and they're that person that's always there, that's your BFF. Not somebody from high school back in the day or whatever the case may be. I've seen people talk to people and they've said things like that to me. They're like, oh, I don't care. Yeah, I love my husband, but my best friend is. Or I love my girlfriend, but my best friend is. I mean, I have plenty of female friends. And right now, I have a few that are best friends. When I actually find a relationship, which tends to, after 20 some odd years of failed marriages and really bad relationships, I'm going to be on a journey for a while. I tell you, it's getting to be difficult to find that friend. But when I do, that'll be my BFF. Definitely. Now, there's also that breakup or the start of a relationship and it doesn't go the way that you wanted it to. And they say, well, let's just be friends. And I crack up at that one. I why? That's just somebody trying to save face. I mean, like, honestly, come on, man. I'm like, if we're not compatible to date, why do you think we're compatible to be friends? I just had a breakup with someone that I broke up with at week 5. And she came blubbering back, and I'm like, okay. It was a really stupid argument. I just refused to argue with her. She comes back at week 5, and we talk about it and get it all sorted out, and that was fine. I don't hold grudges, but what was hilarious is that at the end of the evening, we were kind of being jokey, and she said to me, "You're the first person that's broken up with me. Nobody breaks up with me." And I was like, that's an interesting statement. I think I'll put that feather in my hat. Sure as shit, 2 weeks later, she breaks up with me. I'm like, light bulb, light bulb. Look, if I meet someone and the chemistry is not there, we may be an acquaintance. But honestly, the word friend is just to me as important as husband, wife, sister, brother, father, mother. Friend is a very important phrase because this is someone that's going to hold some level of responsibility in your life. There's always the cliche friends with benefits. Yeah, somebody tied that into just bonus, sex. I've got a friend that I have sex with. And I've always said, I mean, honestly, I would say, look, as a single person, if I was going to have a one night stand, I would actually have it with a friend because I don't want my friend sleeping with weirdos. But the truth to the matter to me is a friend with benefits is a friend that I can help. It's a friendship that's mutually beneficial, something that we can both gain from. And I just recently, I mean, I've been going through so many just hard financial, just stupid times. I'm not going to waste time labeling them. But instead of continually running the cycle and feeling as though I'm oppressed or taking the garbage from the man, I have I have had 3 really good friends. One is Erin. She's got a total commercial kitchen, Erin's Table. I'm now preparing vegetables and doing food prep for freezer kits on Monday. I'm like the kitchen prep cook guy, so I'm cutting up veggies. And then on Saturdays, I'm working with Johnny. He has a spice company. I'm making sandwiches at the farmer's market. And then I just talked to my friend Sean. He owns Cowfish. I'm going to be doing security. Those are friendships with benefits because I would rather bust my ass doing a menial job that I have to work at that doesn't have anything to do with anything on my resume or anything that I'm trying to do in the future while I'm in grad school. I'd rather do that with a friend than a stranger that just has me fill in a spot. That makes more sense to me. That's a friendship with benefits because we're both mutually happy. So, what kind of friends do you have? Take a look, take an inventory. What kind of friend are you for yourself? Take a look at yourself in the mirror and say, what kind of friend are you for other people? I gotta tell you, use your words. They're important. Today we talked about friends. Next I'm gonna have my friend Lizzie Storm's coming on with me next time. It's going to be a good one. I told her to find a word and we're going to talk about it. So the next podcast will be on another word from Choose Your Words. I really appreciate you taking the time being on with me for number 2. We took a 2 and number 2. Does that sound right? Yeah, I think it does. Thanks a lot for being on with me. I'm Marty G. And I'm out. Peace.
Marti Nation.